I'm only going to eat non-vegetarian. Then this is willpower, he can do it. But can a cow do it? So what do you mean by that? They have some instincts. The parrot have an instinct of producing sounds, therefore you can exploit it. But you cannot teach a crow, a raven. How much you try, you cannot. A dog will bark, bow, bow. But can you teach a cat to do the same noise? How much you beat the cat, cat will say what? Meow. That's what the cat will say. You cannot teach it because it doesn't have intelligence. See? It cannot have intelligence. It only has some, natural instincts for survival God has given. Survival. Otherwise it won't survive. If the cow doesn't know how to smell its food, it will die because it will eat any poisonous thing. No, it has a faculty of smell. The snakes can pick up the vibration in the skin. If it doesn't have ears, so if it does not have that faculty, the snake will perish because anybody can kill the snakes. Yes, you are going to ask question.
Yeah, when God describes himself, he says his only omniscience, warning,
yes.
mercy. But we don't see the fullness of that in man.
No, because it's only image.
Yeah, so holiness is also
everything.
But do we see the fullness of holiness in man or only?
The fullness of holiness can be. See, let's talk about the fullness. You have a 10 millimeter cup. You pour water into it. It has full of water. You have a 2 liter bottle. You put this one into that bottle. What will you say? It's not full. So the fullness is decided by what measure you are taking it. Man can be fully holy as far as man is concerned. But if that holiness is transferred to God, it will be just like that big bottle, a little bit. So God has poured a little bit of God's holiness into man. It's full at creation. You get what I mean to say that? Yes. So only God has the absolute, because you cannot find a larger measurement somewhere where you can pour God's wholeness into it and say that it's still lacking. No. God's is absolute. Everything absolute. You cannot add anything to God's perfections. Whatever it comes. Eternity, His eternity is perfect. Our eternity is not, because we don't have past eternity. We only have future eternity. So our eternity is imperfect. Our immortality, we don't have past immortality. We have only a qualified immortality. We call them, theology calls them conditional immortality. Means that subjected to the fact that you believe in Jesus Christ, you will get immortality. Otherwise, in eternal hell, that is not called, immortality there. Life is what you live. So life is what is in heaven. What is in hell is not life. That is death.
Even Christ we don't have.
That's very careful saying. Yeah, Christ is full as far as God is concerned. Yes. That depends upon the question, what controlled Jesus Christ? The deity controlled humanity or humanity controlled deity? We studied in Christology. Did we take Christology? No, we didn't. Okay. As far as Jesus was concerned, when he became a man, humanity did not control his deity. His deity always controlled the humanity. So Jesus appeared as a man because the deity was concealed, so that he will not appear to man as God, because God cannot be seen, he is so holy. When Jesus was hungry, the deity controlled, otherwise humanity will immediately perform a miracle for satisfying the hunger. No, the deity controlled. No, you cannot do it. So because the deity controlled humanity, what appears to us is the human Jesus, while we know that he is the divine God in human form. So that's the way it is. But the deity is there, but it is hidden from our. Yeah. Remember Elisha, when he was surrounded by the Assyrian army, Elisha's disciples said that, Master, what are we going to do? These people have surrounded us. So Elisha said, well, those who are with us is more than with them. Then he prayed to God, opened his eyes for a second. God opened his eyes for a second. What did he see? Chariots of fire all around. The chariots of fire did not come there when his eyes were opened. The chariots of fire was there even when they didn't see it. So God somehow does not open our eyes to see completely the omnipotence, the omniscience, and the omnipresence and all those things. While it is there. It is there. We don't have the mechanism. You hear music here, beautiful Carnatic music. Listen. You hear it now? But is there music in this room? No?
Yes. If you tune that.
Well, see, there is music waves going on all the time. We don't have the mechanism to pick up the receiver. You bring a radio, which has a SW, MW band, the same wavelength. It pick up. Where the music come from? It's not in the radio. It's in the atmosphere, right? It's pick it up. But you and I cannot pick it up. If God would have put an SW, then I would pick up all SW band. So that is what it is, So man was not, the disciples and others did not have the SW band and the MW band and long band and all that kind of bands that they could pick up the deity of Jesus Christ just like that. Yes. But it does not mean he was not. So we need to understand that, this is yes. So the Tridentine theology, they went wrong, they said wrong. In Roman Catholic theology, even now believes the Tridentine theology, that is their theology. So they are wrong about man. If they are wrong about man, they are wrong about man's salvation and everything all the way. The Armenians and some Lutherans, they also deny co-creation of holiness. You know who Armenians are? There is a country called Armenia, A-R-M-E, that's not what, this is Arminius, James Arminius, or Jacob Arminius was a Netherlands man, who denied everything John Calvin taught, and he taught the opposite of it. They are called the Remonstrants. He has 5 points of Remonstrants, so his followers are called Armenians. So they, and of course the Lutherans, Martin Luther and all that, the Lutherans also deny that. Yes. So now the question is, now what is holiness? What is holiness? If God created man holy, then we must know what is holiness. Holiness, according to Reformed theology, has two aspects. You know what Reformed theology is? Using this terminology without people knowing, Reformed theology is basically the theology that was taught by men like John Calvin and John Knox and such people, who came. There were a number of people, theologians, they taught the 5-point Calvinism and all that goes. That's a Reformed soteriology. Basically we all believe in it. But Reformed ecclesiology we don't believe, because they are covenant theology, and there's so many things to learn about it. So Reformed theology says holiness has two parts. First one is the perception and knowledge. The second one is the inclination and feeling. Perception and knowledge. Perception and knowledge relates to understanding. God and things related to God must be apprehended in order to be holy. You know what perception means? And the perception and understanding, knowledge, perception and knowledge. There are certain things you cannot feel. Sugar you can feel. You put in your mouth and you feel the sweetness. So certain things that we can. But certain things we cannot. Holiness we can never taste, or you can feel. It has to be perceived in the faculty of your understanding. There are certain things like that. We know it is there, not because we feel it, but because we understand it. Our understanding is usually the rational, logical analysis of things will give us that understanding. There is no other way we can know that. Take for example the gravitational power. How many of you have experienced the gravitational power? Some of you have, if you jumped out from a tree or something, but still you will say that you cannot. You only experience the pain on your head when it hit there. You didn't feel the gravity. The gravity is something that we perceive. The apple fell down. Who? Newton? Yes. The apple fell down, and Newton thought about why, when the apple, it break away from the attachment, why it didn't go up. Why it didn't go up, it came down. So he spent a lot of time. So there must be something that attracts it to the core of the earth, something down, That's the reason. And he called that one the gravitational force of the earth. So that is logically came to the conclusion. But you ask the apple, did you experience the gravity when you fell on the stone and it was cracked? He said, no, I only felt a crack. Pain. So there are some things we perceive. The holiness of God is something like that, we perceive. We just cannot experience. So inclination and feeling they're related to will and affection, but perception and knowledge, they are related to our cognizance, our understanding, cognizance. God has created man in a very unique way. When you sit down and think about it, after a while you get up and either go straight away to a mental hospital, or you go and fall down before God and say thank you. There are only two options. You realize how great is God. Otherwise you will say, I'm crazy. What is it? All day I was thinking about. Yeah. Man is the thinking. Man is the only thinking creature. The angels may also be there, but man is on this terrestrial ball. As Isaac Watts or somebody in the song said, on this terrestrial ball, man is the only thinking faculty. How many thoughts we think? Some thoughts you sit down and think and you get up crazy. Why? Because you say that, man, it doesn't, How do I know God is holy? Well, God is holy because the primary way of knowing is because the Bible says God is holy. Bible is God's word. So God himself said, I am holy. Isn't that the easiest way of knowing? That's perception, Perception. Goodness is something we taste. Oh, taste and see the Lord is. Yeah, goodness is something you can taste. Yes. There is no use in assuming goodness. You just assume the sugar is good and you put it in this coffee and then it came out very bitter. You can taste it and see, it is. Goodness is something we taste. Goodness of God is something that we taste. Love of God is something we taste. If love is argued only perceptionally, then there is no use in it. You just think that your wife loves you, okay? How do I know it? I'm supposed to be the smartest man, in this district. Therefore, my wife should love me. Any woman with intelligence should love the smartest man, right? That's my perception. But then you ask her, do you love me? No, I hate you. The day I said I do was the worst day in my life. I cannot take it back, that's why I'm staying with you. See, love is something that, something that you experience. God so loved the world, he gave. See that there is a giving and there is a receiving and there is, all that. That's experiential. There is a theoretical part that comes after the, experiential. If it's not experiential, there is no use in it. But certain things are purely perceptional. That's simply called, that's where people say the philosophy. Well, without philosophy you cannot go ahead. How can you go ahead? No, philosophy is very important, because the word philosophy means phileo, and sophia means love for knowledge. That's what that word means, philosophy. So without love for knowledge, how can you go ahead? Everybody has, love for knowledge. Without love for knowledge, we cannot. So there's something we know. So holiness can be, according to Reformed theology, holiness has to put the perception and knowledge. That is what God says about himself. We just perceive and understand. But then it also has this inclination and feeling. When you start hating sin and loving the opposite, you are feeling, right? Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Start feeling. The drunkard, he is so sick and tired of drinking. Somebody told him that God hates drinking. Because you are a drunkard, you cannot approach God. You stop drinking, so he stopped drinking. Yes, he stopped drinking. Does he know God's holiness immediately? No, but he came to Christ and he got the forgiveness of sins. Once he got the forgiveness of sins, you ask him, now you know what it means to be holy. He will say, holiness is a state of not getting drunk. He is right. He is right. Holiness is a state of not getting drunk. The lady said, holiness is a state of not saying lie. Holiness is a state of loving my wife. Holiness is a state of being truthful. So he begins to say so many things, and then he begins to say what? From Bible I read that God is love, God is righteous, God is this. So holiness is the state of being conformed to the character of God. See that how he comes? Amazing, isn't it? So our perceptual knowledge we can advance slowly to our feeling, our inclination and feeling. Inclination and feeling related to the will and affection. Means unless you decide, you cannot. You know what this is? This is the best, I don't know call it cake or halwa. This is the best halwa made in Goa. We have a sister there in the church, she is an expert in it. So she made for me a couple of times, and then I said, don't make any more, because, I eat all these things and my sugar shoots up. But if you have not tasted it, you don't know what it is. But from what I said, you have an understanding about it. But the moment you take a little bit, put in your mouth, you begin to have the feeling. But for that you have to have the willpower. How much I say, you decided I'm not going to touch it. Yeah. And people say that. They come and sit here and say, how much are you going to say that I'm not going to even listen? That's why the Lord said, he who hath an ear, let him. Yeah. Everybody got 2 ears, but they are not listening because they have will. There's a switch on the will. You turn that switch off. You can sit there, you can smile at the preacher singing that, all that. But you have decided not to listen. And if by chance anything come to listening, you decided not to accept it. Yeah. But then there is sometimes the feeling, Heard of the story of a man went to a meeting, he enjoyed music. So they had beautiful music to start with. Then they will have music, in the middle of it, one preacher after another preacher, couple of music, and then at the end also. So he went, and when the preaching started, he put his He decided not want to listen to it. So it just happened that, a fly came and sat on his nose. So he did everything the fly is flying. So he took his hands and said this. Somehow the preacher said, let him have the ear, let him hear it. So he felt, man, that he is talking about me, so he didn't put it back. So he started hearing it. It said that he got saved that day. See that? So sometimes we work contrary to our will only because our will is very weak. If our will is very strong, even if it is not a wasp come and sting there, I will just, I'm not going to chase it. That's people there. The soldiers and all in the American army and all, they were caught in Vietnam and all, how much persecution they said to give the secret. No, you can put them in the mortar and pound them. You cannot squeeze out an inch of information, because those men are trained in such a willpower. But there are some people, before beating they say, I'll tell you everything, I'll tell you everything. Well, that's because they don't have the willpower. So, wholeness is described in two ways: the perception and knowledge by which we, know it, or the inclination and feeling. In another sense, without knowing God and desiring God, one cannot be holy. That's what saying. Knowing God and desiring God. The problem with the evolutionist and the Marxist and the communist and the rationalist and the materialist and what you can name a bunch of them. The problem with them is, first of all, they have not known God. They have not known God. Why they have not gone? Volitionally they have decided no. Intellectually they were convinced by themselves, saying there is no God. How can you know? How can you know somebody whom you believe is not existing? Can you go to some place which does not exist? Can you go to some place that doesn't exist? Can you go from a place that never existed? That's the problem of these people. They are taking a journey from a place that does not exist to a place that does not exist. Yes. You ask them where they came from. Where did you come from? You ask an evolutionist. He says, I don't know. Or they may say, from my mother's womb. And where your mother came from? My grandmother. Then you keep on asking, and then finally they come to a point. You ask monkey, and then they come to the single-celled amoeba, where the amoeba has come from. They will say from the protoplasm. Okay, where the protoplasm has come from? Well, the sea of, what is it? Chemicals. Where the chemicals have come from? No, they have to come at one point, I don't know. That's where Paul started his message in Acts chapter 17. That's what I am here to tell you, what you don't know. Nothing can come out, something cannot come out from nothing. So if a protoplasm came out, there must be something. There must be something. That something must be higher than that which came out. The egg and the chick comes out. The chick has to be higher than the egg. Yes, definitely. People ask the question, chick or egg, which came first? That's one of the big questions the evolutionists ask. Which came first? Why? Why? No, that's not an answer. They accept. Life never will come without movement of something. Right? Even if it's a plant, the pollen has to move from the male to the Female. Life can never originate without a movement. Egg cannot move. Only chicken can move. You never ever see? So that's the answer I give. What else you can do? Nobody ever asked Mark anything because they don't have an answer for. And a question after that one. Yeah. For a life there is a say that God is the one who moved. You cannot have life or anything without somebody moving it. You know that the ball in a vacuum kept there, zero resistance. If something doesn't move, it will stay there all eternity. So who moved the first stone? The answer has to be God. So all these things apply back, say that you know, your knowledge, you cannot believe in God unless you start on that point of perception, Yes.
Why is this inclination and feeling two different words? Because most of the times it is the feeling that drives the inclination.
No, the inclination is a capacity that God has created, For example, you take electricity. Electricity has certain inclinations. The two wires, if you connect them to a bulb, it will produce light. But if you connect them to an iron rod, it won't produce. Either the short or the iron rod will get them hot, and there is an inclination. Without the inclination, the feeling cannot come. Because, it has to be designed. Everything is designed with certain inclination. When God created man, he is created with an inclination to know God. Take, for example, what is a chick? In the moment egg is, chick is hatched from the egg, what will be the first thing the chick will do? It will peck. That's an inclination created for its survival. If it's a calf delivered by the cow, what does the calf do first? You have ever seen a calf or cow delivering a calf? And farmers, I'm talking to city boys. City boys have seen only cows in pieces. Even you cannot say that now. Immediately the cow delivered goes like this and goes where the udder of the cow is to drink milk. That's an inclination created. The chick won't go searching for the udder of the hen because it has nothing. God has created that. A baby, as soon as it's delivered, you lay down the baby next to the mother, the baby will turn to the side and go close to the mother, seeking the warmth and the love. That's an inclination created. So God has created man with an inclination to search him, an inclination for knowing. Without that inclination, you will not be seeking it. So that inclination leads you to feeling. See, that's the order. You cannot deny that, because all human beings, for example, we have an inclination for love.
Because we feel good about it, that's why.
We feel about good, yes. That's because either you have already experienced some goodness, In a whole bowl you have something kept white. It could be salt, or it could be sugar, or it could be anything else. You let the boys come. Most probably all the boys will come and take little bit and put in the mouth because they have an inclination towards food. That's the reason. They have an inclination towards food. Certain color also. If it is just really black, probably none of the boys will put it in the mouth, because people have an aversion towards, food that is very black. Whatever you cook, do you ever have a really black food? Unless it is burnt. And the burnt part usually we don't take it. Yes, see that. Because it's all matter of inclinations. It's all matter of inclinations. So without an inclination, our feelings cannot properly come. Yes. So man was created holy. Man was also created,
Perception.
yes, perception.